Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another roundtable discussion on Super Robot Wars. I am joined today by the usual guest, WestTownHD, aka Blake.
It is that time. What's going on, guys? We are here for some more SRW discussions. The series isn't dead, and I'm looking forward to telling you why.
We have Revo.
Hey guys, glad to be back.
And we have Dramata.
Hi there, I am here.
Okay, so I wanted to do this discussion because I feel like the Super Robot Wars series is in a very interesting place right now where, of course, they haven't had a game since 30, but also because 30 was a bit of an outlier game in of itself, and the OG series is up in the air, which we'll talk about, and we just don't know what the heck is coming since also handheld games kind of got assimilated into the Switch, so I don't know, the future is looking uncertain, but I personally feel that's not in a bad way just because of where we've been with 30 and just where we could go there. So, if you guys just want to give a general consensus about what you think the series is going to do with the next game or what you want it to do, you can go ahead and start with Blake.
All right, I genuinely have no clue where the series is going after this 30. They've stated multiple times was kind of a one-off, and rightfully so. I loved 30, but I feel like out of all the SRW games, at least on modern platforms, I feel like I could replay 30 the least. It's very lengthy, and the story is a little bit more disjointed in comparison to the other games. I don't think the next game, at least I'd hope they wouldn't put themselves through that again, because I think Terada said that it was pretty nightmarish trying to get everything to line up, sync up, and everything the way it happens. So here's open for a traditional game with the usual route splits, and yeah, I can see them going for that. And it's been long enough where I feel like early next year we might see a new game, and hopefully they've had a longer development cycle for this game as well, because we saw how a longer development cycle with 30 was very good for the IP.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like the extra time and development really show, which is like the little things in 30. So the fact that we are waiting this long for a new game, I hope that's a really good sign. So what about you, Revo?
I hope with how they did 30, I hope they kind of tried to evolve that whole system with the map selection and all the side stages and stuff. I hope they kind of tone it back and focus a little better, and maybe have it seemed like a mess, honestly, to me. So I hope they work on that a little bit. And I wouldn't be mad if it was just a traditional Super Robot Wars game. I would be okay with that.
I get that for sure.
Yeah, the map was a little bit hard to find things between. Honestly, I didn't really use the map, more so I just used the mission select, because finding anything on the map was a little daunting. I was like, because you had all the different places on Earth, then you had space, then you could go. I think at one point you go into the universe, like through planets, and I'm like, oh, this is a bit much. I don't know where I'm going.
I think it was a cool idea and like just novelty, but it didn't bother me. But yeah, if they can improve it, then awesome. But what about you, Dramata? What do you think about the future of the series immediately or the next game?
I know that they really want to do an OG finale, and I know they haven't gotten to yet because of Bandai Namco. I'd love to see one, of course. I'd love to see OG remakes. And, real talk, I've been watching Macross Delta lately, and I want a licensed SRW where every single major plot moment in any show is interrupted by Ika and I Borderline. That's what I want right now.
You just reminded me, we haven't seen Delta, which is kind of weird. Obviously, the rest of
It was Harmony Gold, right?
Yeah, the series before Frontier essentially was in a weird spot, let's say, for years. But yeah, I was expecting Delta to debut in like T or 30, and I was really surprised when it didn't.
I've found it quite enjoyable. I'm not done with it yet, but I've been enjoying what I've seen of it very much lately. So yeah, I would love an SRW game with more Macross content now that they've pretty much settled things with Harmony Gold.
You and I both. Although I think we haven't seen a game with like multiple Macross, excluding BX, because that had what was it, Cross 30 or something?
Alpha had both DYRL and Plus.
Which was awesome. And then We also got 7 in Alpha 3. So I think that is the record.
Yeah,
for,
that
like,
had
most
3
lacrosse.
together, yeah.
Bring back the Battle 7, please. I've only just gotten to experience it playing through Alpha 3. It's so good.
Right. Having a guy with an absurdly high evade stat as your captain of a battleship is really funny, as it
So
turns out.
funny.
Yeah, as for my thoughts on the immediate feature of the series, I think I do want a typical, standalone game with anime titles in it, but I don't know. I don't want like just another VXT, Like if they
I want
do that,
Impact.
it's fine. Oh, you want a game as long as Impact, or
No, I want them to remake Impact in HD.
Oh, you want a remake Impact?
I want everyone to suffer like I did.
If they remake it, can we please get a speed increase?
No.
Dear Lord.
See, I'm in the minority that once you get to like stage 4 or 5, you just get used to it. Like you just start to enjoy it. Plus, I just like how unique it was and how many different things it tried, how many series. Also, the secrets list in Impact is like really cool, so I enjoyed it for that too.
Impact has so much cool stuff in it, like so many fun plot moments, so many like story-wise just structural things that no other game has dared to do, even 30. Like 30 comes close, but Impact does stuff like you can interrupt stuff on Earth and it causes differences in the stage structure in space because certain things don't show up if you prevent them from launching into space. Like,
yeah, just really cool stuff.
The map designs are really nice, just really gorgeous 3D maps that really no other SRW except MX has come close to. And just lots of really cool stuff that I would love for people to experience, unironically.
I can't remember. Was MX not MX? Sorry, was Impact's the first PS2 SRW title?
Impact was the first, and it reused assets from Alpha Gaiden.
Okay, yeah. So it had a hybrid of reused assets and new ones, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And a lot of those assets made their way to Alpha 2, I believe.
I don't think so, actually.
No,
Alpha 2 was all new sprites.
Never mind then. Okay, I can't remember where I've seen the Impact sprites.
Trying to think.
I think Impact sprites may have been redrawn somewhat in MX, but I don't think they got reused wholesale in anything else.
Yeah, you see influence in the MX, but that's kind of it. Because,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of shows that were in Impact that didn't come from, Alpha Gaiden or anything, which is,
like Dangaio.
Ninja, Toby Kage.
Oh, yeah, Toby Kage, for sure. G Gundam.
Wasn't Nadesco in Impact?
Nadesco was in Impact, yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Machine Robo.
Make me want to replay this now, honestly, but...
It's so fun, honestly. If it didn't break in emulators, I would play it more. Oh, I want to share my Impact story. Just a very tiny one. I have a memory card save for that goes back to the year of our Lord 2001. I did play it when it was new, before Alpha 2 came out. And at one point I met up with a friend who had a save hacking utility. And so he hacked my save, and now long story short, my Grendizer has a permanent distortion field. That's how I play Impact.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, bring back Grendizer, bro. Not just say that. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Grendizer got an infantism, right?
Yep.
Bro, just do it. Oh my gosh.
Getting a new anime and game. I'm not sure when, but they were announced.
I do remember seeing gameplay. They've shown gameplay for the game too. It's on everything on Steam and stuff coming to the West. Looks crazy.
Well, since we're on the topic of series we want back, and we are talking about the future of the series, we have had quite a few anime end. Not even just recently, but even before 30 came out. We had Back Arrow, Dynazenon, Witch from Mercury, the new Dynazenon Gridman crossover has been out in Japan. I think that's even in DD already. But what combination of new series debuting and returning series would you want to see in just a standalone game if we had one coming next? And what would you want, Blake?
All right, so I'm trying to think of mecha shows that I've been into over the last I guess SRW period. I am curious how many shows are going to return, because I feel like most of 30's DLC cast has a chance to come back in the base game so they can actually do their plots. Big Elephant in the Room, IBO was DLC instead of actually having a proper debut. I feel like IBO could come back. But I'm curious if they'll do if they'll bring back Get a Robot Devolution, because they seem like they really liked showing that off in 30, or if they'll just go straight to Getter Arc, because
All right,
it's
I forgot we have Arc as well.
yeah,
Two getters
Arc's been out. When did that come out? Was that 2020?
I think it's been 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, so at the very least, I'll be shocked if I see Armageddon Ryoma again.
I will not. He's been here
Actually,
before us.
again.
He will be here after us.
Yeah, okay, I suppose. But yeah, I feel like it's, if we say that they started development or the planning phase for this game, probably, let's say, when did 30 come out? 20, and the DLC was 22. Let's say like end of 2022. I think it's too early for. Oh, well, then again, Witch for Mercury was like the end, and they already had model kits and stuff made for it, so maybe Witch for Mercury. Dynazenon, definitely. I feel like there's been enough time passed, and with the new Gridman Dynazenon movie that just came out, that could be either DLC or the next game if they want to do DLC for this game. Yeah, Back Arrow. I've been campaigning this for a while. There's this small anime that came out a while ago, Aquarion Lagos. I mean, we got all the other Aquarions. Make it happen, Bandai.
You just reminded me you're having a 4th Aquarion for
yes,
some reason.
sir.
Wow.
Yes,
Who
sir.
asked for this?
What do you mean? Listen,
Shoji Kawamori.
I will absolutely stand Aquarion. All right, people want to say Aquarion Evol was weird, but I'm like, listen, that's part of the charm. Okay, Evol was absolutely strange. I will not tell you it was not, but it was still fun, and I'll keep campaigning for all of these shows. But with regards to a new title as well, they always seem to get like a kind of like a more retro pick, whether it's a returning series. Like in 30, I guess it was Victory Gundam they brought back from the ashes. They like adding like their Triders and their Zambots and their Ditrons. I am curious what old like 80s or 90s show they might try and put into the next one.
We got Elgine. Let's go even
Hell
more
yeah.
obscure. Dogram.
What the hell is that?
Exactly.
What did you say? Dougram?
Yeah, Dogram. You know
Dogram.
Dogram.
Dougram, yeah. Doug. How do you spell that?
Dougram.
Dougram. Dougram tablets? There's a. No, okay. Anyway,
What are you looking for?
Continue with your train of thought.
Okay, but if we're thinking along those lines, we got to do Strungle and Zabungle together, right?
Oh, Zabungle too, yeah.
I agree. They have a similar style. What about you, Revo? While we wait for Blake to not look up.
Hold on, wait. Was it Fang of the Sun Dougram?
Yes.
Okay, carry on, Revo.
So I highly agree with Dynazenon. I actually thought Dynazenon was better than Gridman.
Ooh, not wrong. But go on.
Yeah. Returning series. With that, I would like to see Zoids more, just in general.
It's the 40th anniversary. It's perfect time.
Yep, I agree. Back Arrow, and I was always an advocate for Back Arrow because I love Goro Taniguchi and Kazuki Nakashima, and I was basically sold on it once I heard Nakashima was writing it. Macross and Zoids are like two series that I would pretty much always like to see in Super Robot Wars, no matter what they throw in, just as kind of like a standard. Witch from Mercury, I don't know. If it's beginning of next year, they could probably just do it like full sale. Like if they were.
Would that be the fastest turnaround, or was Mazinger Infinity still the fastest?
The fastest turnaround was almost certainly Gal Geiger versus Better Man.
Wait, really? When did that come out versus when it debuted?
The web novel was still ongoing when the game was written and translated.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't finished.
Okay, I definitely thought 30 was the debut game.
That would explain why they didn't do much like plot with it, really.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't done yet when they wrote it.
Still give us some really cool moments in there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else, Revo, or was that mainly it for you?
More Braves.
Oh,
Just kind of go down
yes.
the line
Yes,
until
we need
everyone debuts.
X-Kaiser, please, X-Kaiser.
That one
Yes,
makes
that's
the
the way
most
it
sense.
I think X-Kaiser was in Cross Omega? Was it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Dramata? What do you want to see?
Oh, what I want to see. Okay, well, I've mentioned Macross, Strungle, Zabungle. I want more really wild out there stuff. Just like inclusions that make people do a double take. Like, say, if they started, like, there's an anime for Pluto coming out, so what if they just throw in Astro Boy?
I have been barking up that tree for years. Like, make it like we
Yeah.
have Devilman. I know it's like mobile spin-off and all that, but Astro Boy would actually fit into SRW really well.
I think the mobile spin-offs are, like, they're really great and important because you can just kind of experiment with them and do what you want without having to commit to a major console game. And at the same time, you can expand your definition of what fits, which is really useful, actually.
Worked out for 30.
Oh, it really did, yeah.
I think more outlandish picks makes games more beloved in general. Like, perfect example, UX. I don't know what they were smoking with that roster, but it somehow worked, and it's one of my most favorite games.
Yeah. UX. I have fond memories of UX because a friend of mine was doing a pretty much a full translation of it for fun and kept coming to me with questions. And so I got a lot of like third-hand exposure to it. It was fun.
This reminded me, because I was doing like my own translation line by line of that game, and it made me hate Demon Pain with a passion my first playthrough, because I didn't know what the hell these people were talking about.
Oh yeah. Having to
obviously
deal
it's
with
like
loaded
the-
terminology.
Right, the like Lovecraftian and other stuff mixed in with the traditional Japanese. Like, oh my god, what is happening here?
That's a lot of research. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like Demon Bane now though. I got over it.
Yeah, more visual novels would be great. Could think, just speaking of Demon Bane, just more media. Like, you don't have to just stick to anime.
The safe
Like,
picks, yeah.
If you want to do a gritty post-apocalyptic setting like Iron-Blooded Orphans, go all in with it and do other stuff like, say, Metal Gear.
Oh, Dramata, I like what you're saying.
Like, just got
Metal
done
Gear,
a
Ghost
while
in the
back.
Shell, Cowboy
going through
Bebop.
the
You could put
games.
all those things together.
So
Oh,
since
you
you said visual novel, you just reminded me of Full Metal Demon Muramasa. Although
Ooh.
you'd have to like censor the hell out of that because there's some stuff in there. But
Yeah.
the main
Well-
mech is awesome and it would work.
In terms of debuts as well, I just pulled up I was just Googling an anime from like 2021 and 2022. I remember seeing a lot of talk about this. I never watched the show personally, but Bao, I know you watched it. 86.
Oh, people love
Ooh,
86.
yes.
It would fit
Yeah.
well with like Code Geass or other realistic shows like
Yeah.
Photoms.
I've seen a lot of talk about 86, and I was like, that did come out. And the last Evangelion movie. If we're ready, mentally for that in SRW.
I think I want them to wait until like a new trilogy or whatever to
Build up to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, build up to that.
That reminds me, if you're putting in Shin Evangelion, that means there's room for Shin Godzilla,
True.
you know, Shin Ultraman.
True.
Just saying.
That would
They're
be
coming.
amazing.
I like
On
what
the
she's
subject of that, so since we got Ultraman in 30 and it worked because there was no actor likenesses to like deal with because it was an anime, we
Ultraman, yeah.
we do have a Kamen Rider W anime now with no likeness to the actors, so we could see it. It could happen.
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
not
slipped my mind
impossible.
how huge Ultraman in 30 was.
Oh yeah, pretty big deal. But yeah,
What else
anything
came out?
you want to see Dramata, or is that more or less it?
Oh, I've just been naming things. That's pretty much what I want to see. I'd
So-
love to see more of the expanded Anoverse.
I agree. As for me-
Apparently,
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I'm at the end of the list now. Apparently, I didn't know this. There was either this is a new Fafnir or another part of Fafnir that came out.
The movie.
Dead Aggressor Part 4. I liked what I played of Fafnir. Be cool to see Fafnir back.
But yeah, there was a sequel movie to Fafnir.
Oh, okay, didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, someone in my Discord even said like after he got done marathoning all of them is like his favorite mecha ever now.
I did see that message, and I was like, wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, that's for me. What I want to see, like I could get really, really outlandish with my picks, but the more, I guess, realistic ones, Zoids, because 40th anniversary, and we never got proper treatment for Zoid Zero Century in SRW. Still not over that. Obviously, Dynazenon, just because it has to. Like, it's Dynazenon. It's beloved. It would fit so well.
Gonna
But
follow
it's
up,
Gridman.
man. Yeah.
Obviously, Macross to come back. Actually, I want to see Macross Zero. I think the only game that was in was like Scramble Commander. And I like Macross Zero a lot. I know it's a bit divisive with some people, but
What, was Zero in Scramble Commander 2? I don't
I
remember it being in Scramble Commander 1. Let me look that up.
think it was 2, but don't quote me on that. But if I had to pick like more outlandish stuff, like what Blake was saying with the Evangelion movies, I want to see that done like properly with each one. But my more crazy pick for something like that would actually be, and this is like top 3 dream picks for me, Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You've been campaigning that for a while.
Like that is the best anime I've seen in my life, and if it had time to breathe in SRW, it would be phenomenal. It is so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I almost want to rewatch it now that I'm talking about it. Since we've been getting like these one-off shows though that aren't like Mecha, I've been barking up this tree as well. Outlaw Star. It would fit so well.
And they did
I would
Bebop.
love a ship with arms.
Yes, ships that know how to do kung fu. Put it in. And also, like I was saying, Kamen Rider, since now we have an anime that's not using actors and all of that. But yeah, lots of things I want to see. I'm excited for the future of SRW, and I can't wait to see what's next. It'd be funny.
The sky's the limit.
It'd be funny if like we just get an announcement very soon.
I said I can't remember one of the times we did one of these discussions. They announced something like relatively quickly afterwards.
I think it was DLC for 30. I think.
Maybe. But yeah, I can't wait for the next one. I forgot Kyoku Senki exists.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's probably a
Warrior
shoe
at the
too.
Borderline.
That's a sound from Sunrise.
I don't know if they would. If they include the Hathaway's Flash movie, is that a different debut from the novel?
Yeah, because it's actually called Gundam Hathaway, the movie. It's not called Hathaway's Flash.
Interesting. Okay.
I just looked it up, by the way. Macross Zero was in Scramble Commander 2.
Okay. So yeah, future of the series looking bright. Can't wait to see what we get. But obviously we can't talk about the future of SRW without talking about OG3, the game that's quickly becoming the elephant in the room. So obviously, I think it's safe to say we all want OG3. We all like the OG series, and it sucks that this is happening at the point where we're right before the big climax. Like right before we get to see Ban Preos and Distant Strand again and all that in HD, and finally get the payoff of the series that's literally 2 decades old now. But the sad thing is, it seems we may not be getting OG3 anytime soon, since the, I guess, top brass, so to speak, probably don't see much of an interest in it compared to making one-off anime titles. So, I guess just your general thoughts on that, and any other thoughts you just have on OG3 in general. Go ahead, Blake.
Alright, so OG is what got me into the SRW franchise as a whole. I started with the GBA version of OG2. I said OG2. OG1 at a summer camp, and it was the only thing that really kept me sane being there. It was very, very fun. I remember when you get to the halfway point, I thought that was the end of the game, and I quickly realized that was not that was not the end of the game. OG franchise is great, and I really like the Z cast, and I'm not gonna fool myself here. Realistically, it's gonna be a miracle if we get OG3 as it is. I feel like this next game, if they're able to put as much budget into it as they can, it'll probably be the OG series' last hurrah, realistically, unless something changes over at Bandai, like Bao was mentioning. Can't wait to see the series included in OG3. I hope they really go off the wall, include more Endless Frontiers content, maybe go something from like another Centuries episode R. I can't remember which one it was that was on PSP. Was that Ace 3?
PSP was portable.
Portable, okay.
But they all have OG mechs in them, so it really doesn't matter.
Ace 3 was PS2 for the record. Ace R was PS3.
PS3, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, not Ace R. Ace 3 has a bunch of OG mechs in it in general.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously I think W is the next handheld game in line after J. and we just got that fan translation of W. I believe that was last year. And boy, is that translation great. If you guys haven't played it, go play it. It's a perfect entry point into the series. Very, very good game. Great originals. I think they're shoo-ins for the next game, as everyone's been hoping for, and seeing them in glorious HD will just be fantastic. My biggest hope as well for OG3 is that they find some way to bring back all the Masokishin units. I won't say why they're gone for people that are still interested in the game and don't want spoilers, perhaps, but the Masokishin units are on vacation, and I really hope they get back in time for the finale, because I absolutely love them.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm posting an article here. There's a Dual Shockers article here from a time when Terada talked about an OG prequel game that he wanted to do featuring a bunch of Masokishin stuff. And
Really?
it was going to be for PS3 and Vita. And it looks like it was going to be a DLC game like Dark Prison, but Masokishin just does not have the traction, unfortunately. It got canceled.
That's unfortunate.
Like, even being a big SRW fan myself, obviously, sometimes I struggle with Masokishin, so I get it.
The games are pretty difficult. I like the characters, though.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, I think that's basically everything I want to say about the OG franchise. With the, like, strange amount of DLC, DLC they did for the originals in 30, adding in, like, Kyosuke and Excellent, you know, the SRX, Masaki, like, all these, Sanger, like, all these different characters. I feel like they really are trying to get these characters more well-known so they can maybe appeal to some of these fans that are maybe just here for the anime games, to kind of get them interested. I am pretty excited for OG3 and just hoping that above all else it does materialize in my lifetime.
Yeah, I'm hoping that as well. What about you, Revo? Any general thoughts on status of OG3 or just OG in general?
I don't have a whole lot to say. I've always been more of a licensed game person. Not that I dislike the OG games. I haven't played like the OG games in a long time, and I don't even think I finished like Moon Dwellers. So, but I did enjoy them adding those characters, the OG characters in 30, and I kind of wish they just throw them in, like even as DLC. That's fine with me. If they do drop an OG game, I'll definitely pick it up and play it though, and that might actually push me to like delve deeper into general Super Robot Wars lore, because I'm pretty lacking on it.
I get that. And yeah, OG will definitely help with that, especially with like time divers and cross gates and all that.
Yeah, it seems really daunting and like confusing.
It'd be really neat if they kind of like, I guess, got like a, I don't know if they, see, I feel like getting OG 1 and 2 like translated and then put on Steam, like the PS2 versions, would be more work than they want to commit, but that'd be a good way to test the waters on the series if they ported OG 1 and 2 to Steam, maybe Gaiden in second and then Moon Dwellers. I don't want to wait that long for them to port all those games onto Steam over the course of an uncertain amount of years, but with the series, and we'll probably talk about it later, it's interesting. I'm curious if the next games will be English released officially.
That's one good thing about the current state of the series in general, is that we don't really have to guess if the next game will be in English, which even like half a decade ago with Moon Dwellers, like that was up in the air. So it's good that we're just at that point with like SRW. Like we have to rely on the fan base itself to do the heavy lifting of translating and providing guides for everyone. So I'm just grateful for that, just a little aside.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of access people have to SRW these days is astounding. Like, if you told someone 20 years ago that they would get games just put out in English with either identical release dates or really close, like 3 months out ones, they would tell you were nuts.
I was buying yen cards to buy Super Robot Wars Z3 on a Japanese account on my PS3.
Oh, I remember that.
I did that too.
But yeah, Dramata, what about you? Any thoughts on OG3 or just OG in general?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on OG. I hope you won't mind if I go a little into detail.
Not at all.
Okay, so there are a number of things, I think. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I am spitballing. I am saying this as an outsider. I am a translator, but I do not have any inside baseball here. I don't know how anything inside these companies actually works. So, purely spitballing. I want to point out that Moondwellers came out in 2016. This means that it's been now 7 years since Moondwellers came out, and if a game came out at this time next year, that would be an 8-year gap. And when Moondwellers came out, that was just around, I believe, a decade and change after the last English release of an OG title, which I believe was Endless Frontier 1. So, let me lay down the lore. Please picture me counting on my fingers here. We've got OG1, OG2, OG Gaiden, OG Second, Moondwellers, Endless Frontier 1, Endless Frontier 2, and technically the Project Cross Zone games are canon to OG as well, but let's not get into that. And same with Masokishin, that would get me up to like over 10 games of lore.
And ASAR, technically.
And ASAR, yes. ASAR also is treated as canon. So, out of those games, the ones that are officially available in English are OG1, OG2, Endless Frontier 1, and Moondwellers. And, the Project Cross Zone games too. So, we're missing OG Gaiden, OG Second, Endless Frontier 2, and ASAR, plus literally all of Masokishin until the end of time. There is a lot of lore that people will not get if they pick up an OG game that came out in 2024. Like, if they just released the finale in 2024 and just suddenly threw it out there in English, there would be so many hurdles to an English-speaking player enjoying that game that it would be difficult to justify a $70 purchase. Internationally speaking, the case for making OG Finale is weak. It was established with Super Robot Wars T that non-domestic sales in that game eclipsed domestic sales. It sold better in China and the West than it did locally in Japan, combined. So, this is an actual business decision influencing factor. Like, corporate bean counters are sitting here going, okay, so we can sell 1 million units with this, or we can sell 500,000 units with that. Which are we going to put our money into if we have to put about the same amount of money into it either way, right?
Yep.
So, unfortunately, I think the reality does make it difficult, and that might possibly just be because the one-shot games have been so successful. But, that's not to say it's their fault or anything. Basically, because they have dropped the ball so long, it is really difficult to pick that ball back up again. It's kind of like the struggles that Dragon Quest had gaining traction in the West after spending pretty much the entire 90s doing nothing in the West.
I really guess that. I feel like that's more of a common thing more and more I hear in Japan, actually. Like, I think Advance Wars, Metroid are both good examples. Like, from our perspective as Westerners, you would think these are big series, but if you look at their sales in Japan, they're actually really not in their home country.
So, on the other hand, now, I've gone into all the reasons why an OG game is less likely to be feasible, but on the other hand, I think that there is a limit to how much you can milk the licensed one-shots. Like, I think at a certain point, customer base fatigue will set in, and once you've played one, you have essentially played all of them, unless you're really, really into the series that are being included.
I think people felt that with VX and T, because I've heard people.
Yeah, there was a lot of reused series between.
Not only that, there was reused dialogue straight up. Like, if you look at the Magic Knight Rayearth finales between T and 30, they're identical.
Now, you say dialogue, do you mean like the actual text or just the voice acting?
The text.
Wow.
If you compare the two, you will see a lot of similarities. There are some things that are minorly changed, but by and large, it's pretty much the same.
Jeez. Are they still...
That is not a translation thing. That is very much a source thing.
It seems like SRW really does like to get their mileage out of the assets they create, because I think the Perus haven't had new dialogue since. Well, the voice actors I think passed away for them, but they hadn't had new dialogue since like Alpha.
Yeah, you can't get new dialogue without opening a whole new can of worms there.
Oh, that's another thing as well. Excellent.
At least it's not Todd Guinness. If you guys haven't read that story, back when Super Robot Wars F was coming out and they were first doing voice lines for Dunvine characters, they wanted to get voice lines for Todd Guinness, but his voice actor became a super recluse and they had to like track him down physically.
What?
And once he agreed to do it, he said, okay, now we're never doing this again.
Oh my god.
Todd Guinness will never get new lines. That's just an understanding they have. I think that was mentioned in an interview in like the back of a strategy guide or something. I read it somewhere.
That was very enlightening, Dramata. Thank you.
Sure.
If you want my quick thoughts. Obviously, I adore OG in general. It's what got me into SRW, so OG series holds a soft spot in my heart, and I just want to see the story finished. And obviously, I want it done justice, so if all this waiting means that we get the best ending ever, then hopefully it'll be worth it when that happens. I just want it
I would love
happen.
to see it. Like,
I
I love the OG series, so I'm fully there with you on that.
Yeah, I want this, if this is the last game, which it probably is, then I want it to be a big hoorah and celebration of this great series. I guess to end it, we can just talk about anything else we want to in general, or just do a just casual discussion on whatever you guys want. So, you got anything to say, just go for it. Like...
yeah, no, I think we pretty much covered everything. I'm trying to think on if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. As Dramata was speaking, I also remembered that Excellent's voice actress passed away in the time frame from Moon Dwellers to here. So if we do get new OG, they said they're not recasting her. The only way they'd recast her is if they did an anime. And I'm like, that's an interesting criteria. I wonder if there actually is an anime project planned, because I think they had... The last one would have been Inspectors. Then for Moon Dwellers, they had that Beach Dwellers OVA that I think was just like a one-off thing. But I'd love to...
segment.
Yeah, see, and this is kind of a loophole, actually. If they actually... I don't know if Bandai would give them the license or the money for it, but if they actually made another OG anime that took place after Inspectors and got more eyes on these characters and then released the finale, that could help sales slightly. I'd love to see another anime. Inspectors is flipping great. Everything about that show just oozes polish, and I need to get the Blu-ray for it. It's so good. But yeah, looking forward to everything in the future, regardless of what it is. So long as it's not a mobile game, your boy WestTownHD will be there streaming it day one. Yeah, I think they're still supporting DD, so I guess that's kind of their SRW funnel for right now.
Yeah, that is still quite active.
Yes, I haven't heard much of it recently. Was there any new debuts recently for DD?
I don't know. I haven't been keeping track of it either.
I've seen it in passing because Tarada does like a little excerpt on everything. Recently they put in the Argon Powered, which is cool. I'm actually on his Twitter page right now. They just put Banjo in. Yeah, what about you, Revo? Anything to add in general before we wrap up?
So we were talking about Impact, and I've always advocated for this. I would love them to give either the Alpha series or Z the Impact treatment.
Remake the games. Oh, remake them into all one game?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
See, Alpha I can see. Z, though, is like 6. Well, I should say 5, because I think Z3R is like a mini game. I think it's like 20 stages. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Rengoku. Okay. I would love to see a re-release of Rengoku, because it was a DLC only or a code only. You can't play that now. That's just gone. But no, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that. That would be a hell of a collection / game / I don't know if they could do that for Z, because I mean they could definitely take Z2 and Z3 and make them into one game, both separate games. But
that's
like,
a lot of stages.
It is a lot.
Like, if you want to talk about 30 being exhausting, if you
I was about to say,
other 2 SRWs, it would be about the size of 30.
Alpha 1 on its own is massive, although a lot.
Oh, you're telling me.
Alpha
I never.
1 is like 150 stages.
Mind you, a lot of the early stages of Alpha 1 are like 8-minute stages. Like you can rip through those. Like the
Alpha has some
Mazinger.
hilarious stages too.
Oh, it
like,
really does. Yeah.
Like the Ava debut stage is one where the Titans are invading Tokyo 2. And Shinji's just out there about to fight the first angel, and the Titans show up and attack him, and the entire stage is just you sitting there watching a bunch of Marasais bounce off your AT field. It's really funny. They don't design stages like that anymore.
They really don't, and that's such a shame. Some of the funniness and stuff that goes on in SRW, a lot of those interactions are just so good.
My favorite interaction in Alpha series will always be Fokker coming out drunk and Amuro trying to scold him. Well, Fokker basically like sunning him, like listen here, little kid, and the entire thing is voiced. It's just great. But yeah, that would be cool, I think, in theory. But then when you like look at it, I mean, I would be up for the challenge because I'm crazy. But I think that would scare some people away if just like Alpha collection. But I would like to see it.
Logistically, that would be a nightmare. And at least with like Alpha, because we can't have Giant Robo again, which is unfortunate. So that would be an issue.
What about you, Dramata? Anything to add before we end?
Oh, now that we're on the topic of Alpha, the Alpha series is so great.
Oh, it really is.
Like,
I agree.
I would love to see a full-on remake of an older game like Alpha. Like I mentioned Impact earlier, Alpha 1 would make me just as happy. And
I agree.
Even beyond that, I want personally to dive into more superhero Saksen lore because it's really funny. And I just want to share more of that with people later. Like, the whole Time Diver thing comes from Superhero Saksen because the story of that game is Ingram going back in time.
Oh, I didn't know that was the origin of it. I just thought they made it up for the SRX team.
Nope, that is it. He is a literal time diver in a previous incarnation and not in his current one.
I feel like Ingram's done everything. Like he appears in everything.
I mean, spoilers for, I guess, any of his appearances, but even after he like bites the bucket, you see a bunch of his little bastards running around.
It's great.
Is that what we're calling them now?
I mean,
is that what you're calling the machinery children now?
I mean, am I wrong?
You can't call them bastards anymore. I'm sorry. We replace them to scums.
I like their tufts of hair that distinguish who they are.
Oh, the machinery children rule. I love them. Just a bunch of homicidal assholes. They're great.
They got great themes.
Great mechs too.
One thing I would be excited
Alpha Gaiden
for.
would be another good pick, of course. Alpha Gaiden is never bad, and Alpha Gaiden in many ways is arguably just the best and most satisfying difficulty curve in an SRW game to this day, I would argue.
I agree with that, actually.
Like, Z1 comes close, but Z1 has way too many things that require psychic powers. Like, you have to have foresight to know what to do, and Z1 to get some skill points. But that's not really the case in Alpha Gaiden.
Alpha Gaiden broke me slightly towards the end.
I remember.
Bao was there. Bao knows. Yeah, Alpha Gaiden
he was
just
fed up.
He
went from having the time of his life to why am I suffering?
Literally in the last 5 stages. What was irking me is how I'd start a stage and I'd be like, okay, cool, we're nearly done the stage, and then they'd be like the name of the stage would play and be like, okay, here's part 2 of the stage, and I'm like, this game is not 50 stages. This game is like, they tell you it's 50, but there's actually like another 20 that are hidden within other stages.
Oh.
I was lied to.
Having to clear stages at Impact.
And he didn't
don't tell
go
me
for the true ending for the record. He didn't suffer.
I didn't either. I didn't go for the true ending.
It's not the true ending that's the issue in Impact. It's that your stage rewards are tied to the number of turns you clear a stage in.
Oh, did that for Alpha 3? To get the true ending, you have to do it in a certain amount of time, or something like that.
There was a turn count thing in Alpha 3, but that's overall turn count. I'm talking like every stage, if you clear it in X turns, you get a certain skill you can assign to whatever pilot was there in the stage. And concentration is the best reward you can get from that, 80% SP cost. And you have to clear a stage in, I believe, 5 turns for that.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, and so you have to like figure out, reading guides, which stages can be cleared in 5 turns and how exactly to position your units to get that done. And you have to just play super optimally, and if you don't get it, you have to restart and do it again.
Man, Impact sounds great, y'all.
It's so jank. I love that game.
It's just a unique, fun title at its core.
It
Like,
is.
you
There's
can't help
nothing
but
quite
love
like it.
Great little game.
Oh man.
MX is also good.
MX for me is like a top 3 underrated game in the series.
MX is comfort food. It's just fun and simple, and you don't have to do a whole lot in it to know. You don't have to know any secrets, really. Like, there's like 2. And the rest of it you can just enjoy.
MX had Rosalfon, right? Yeah, it was MX.
Rosalfon and
Yeah.
Zailrhymer together.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't have a great Zailrhymer though, right? That's only
Yeah,
J
that's
exclusive.
J.
Only.
Oh man, love to see great Zailrhymer in an HD game.
That's another good idea. Yeah, we should have that in a game again.
Yes, bring it back.
I just want the villains, honestly. The villains in Zailrhymer are hilarious. I'd like to see more of them.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. They're all elemental, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have too much else to add myself, so I think we'll wrap it up here. A big thank you to all my guests that are here. You can find all their socials linked below in the description. Sadly, D1 cannot come out because of conflicting time zones, but he is here in spirit. Hopefully next time we can get him on. But we will see you guys in our next discussion. Hopefully we get an SRW game announced soon. But even without that, we have exciting projects within the SRW sphere. Zenger is getting a figure, I think, in the coming month, I believe, which I'm excited for. If you care, there's another Gespenst coming out that's P Bandai exclusive. That's blue. Yeah, it's blue. If you don't know how to paint the black one or just want blue. But yeah, SRW is alive and well. Hopefully we get something cool soon, and we will talk to you guys later.
God bless the machine.
Deuces, people.
Goodbye.